Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Age Gap. As you can see, we've got another young, dynamic businessman that I'm going to be having a conversation with. And I must tell you, I've been so excited to get this man in the studio, our beautiful studio, to have a conversation because A, he's really difficult to find. B, he's very, very busy. And he's got a lot of exciting sort of tips, ideas, and things that he can share with us.
So I'm Nathan from NHM Accounts and Bookkeeping Services.
On the money.
Do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do.
Been massively successful. You've had an exceptional growth in the last few years. I've known you for about 4 years or so now.
Yeah.
And I've just watched you on this steady increase as you've gone along. There must be something amazingly right that you are doing, and we're going to try and pick your brains and find out what that is so we can share it with that lot out there. So
Sounds good.
hope that's okay.
Perfect.
I want to start a little bit with your background. I was with my wife Ellen the other day. We bumped into you. We were visiting your next door neighbor, dropping something off. We bumped into you, and you were offering us tea, you were offering us coffee, you were offering us Pepsi, you wanted to give us some water. I think at one stage you were trying to make us a sandwich. And when we left, I said to Ellen that you're one of the most generous people that I know. You always make sure that the people around you are well looked after. And I'm very interested about that. Like, where does it come from? Is that did you grow up with that kind of thing, or what is it? Because honestly, one of the most generous people that I've ever met.
So we've got quite a big family, so it's nice and we're all quite close. So from, it was something that was installed into me when I was a child, really. So growing up in quite a large household, got two brothers, two sisters, my mum and my dad, and mum just sort of drilled it into us to be polite, courteous, well-mannered, generous to anybody that was around us, whether that be friends, family, colleagues, whatever it is. We just had to offer that generosity, and that's just stuck with me. And that's helped me from a business point of view as well. So it's always stuck with me from when I was a young child all the way up to business now. And I think that's one of our reasons that we've done quite well as a business, is that it's one of our USPs where everybody does say whenever they come into contact with either me or one of my colleagues, is that it's a real nice place to visit and to be. And it's just trying to offer that, I suppose it sounds very cliche, but you're offering that family, you're bringing clients in as a bit of a family unit. And we don't just look at clients as a number. It's very much we look after our clients.
Well, it's just so authentic, you, that I can see it as being part of your success, but it is just so authentically who you are. Would you say that, because one of the things again that I'm quite fascinated about is the type of people that you work with. There are folks that have joined the social golf days that are retiring, and they're folks that are coming through and starting out their businesses. And when you mentioned that you treat everyone with a certain amount of generosity, it just feels like people from all different sectors are kind of drawn to what it is that you're offering. Would you put that down to the generosity, the fact that you've got people that, as I say, highly successful individuals that have done incredibly well in business, but trust you now to look after their businesses and their accounts going forward, and young guns that are coming through? What do you put that down to?
I guess again, I think it's down to our ethos, which without again sounding cliches, that our motto is committed to your success, and that stems right from, again, going back to the childhood, is that we're very generous as a business with our clients. But I don't think that's necessarily the only reason. We obviously offer good support, some accountancy advice, obviously, which is what we're there for. But I think we treat everybody with the same amount of respect, regardless of whether they're turning over £10,000 a year or whether they're turning over £98 million a year. It doesn't necessarily matter to us. We treat everybody with the same amount of respect. We obviously give slightly more time to those people that need the more time. And again, that's not a figures point of view. It's more from if people need the support, we offer the support. And I think wherever we are, so whether that's on a golf day or whether it's in the office, for us to be able to offer that, I think, as you say, it's authentic, and it comes from a good place. And I think people see that it's not an act. It's not, it's very genuine, and people feel comfortable with us, and they have to be, because the work that we do, it's very private. And people trust us with a lot of things. Some people tell us more than they probably tell their partners.
Right. Well, it's interesting that you also say that, because when you're talking about I can see that your culture through the whole business is very much aligned with your generosity and the way in which you operate, very professional, very thorough, but very, generous. That culture, they always say that culture is something that exists when the business owner isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not in the room, you do get that same sense of generosity. And you also do get people, when they talk about very authentically being, when you hand over a task, it's going to be done in a way that will have the due care that you would want that person to have. In other words, taking on that task as if it was your own task. It was as important to you as it was important to that individual. So in your growth, like over the last few years or whatever it's been, what have you done other than doing a great job? What have you done that's helped you kind of just foster this culture within your business, but then also that culture within your clients that keeps them wanting to come back and keeps them staying with you?
So I think I've hopefully led from the front, and I'm sure, asking colleagues within the office, that they would say the same, is that I try and lead from the front. So they see me doing it, they will want to do it themselves. And that goes right the way, and it's a very silly example, but if it's vacuuming the office, I will do that. Emptying the bins, I will do that. So then I wouldn't expect somebody to do something that I wouldn't be prepared to do myself. And I think that helps people see that and want to then act in the same way. And not only that, we offer training. So, we've got to look at being integral, integrity, it's assurance, accountability, all of those sorts of things that make us the success that we have been. And everybody that works for the business offers exactly that as well, which is nice to see. And it's great from my point of view, where I can see it, that I don't just do it myself. I've got everybody else in the office that is willing to do it as well, which is good. So you can make somebody do it, or you can train somebody to do it, but the fact that they all want to do it, I think is apparent to our clients. And whether that be of an evening or a weekend, if a client's got a need, we will deliver on that. If it's an urgent thing, we will make sure it's done, because if it means a client can sleep easy over the weekend, I'd rather that than come Monday morning and they're stressed.
You sacrificing your sleep for others. Love that. Absolutely love that. Going back now to like building your business and the success that you've had, what's next for you? Where do you kind of see yourself going? What's going to happen to Nathan in the next 5 years?
That's a good question. I'm hoping we obviously will grow as a business. We will grow. We're getting clients weekly, daily, and we don't advertise anywhere. You'll probably see a couple of posts on LinkedIn, very sporadic, but we don't need to advertise, which is brilliant. Our main source of advertising is our clients doing the work for us to a degree. It's all word of mouth advertising, which again, I think speaks volumes for the type of business that we've built. So I don't know. In 5 years' time, I think there'll be some growth. I think there'll be some additions to the team. Maybe another office. I think we'd have to get another office if we were to continue growing the way we have. But I think it's growing in the right way, though, and I think that's important as well. That's an important distinction, is that we don't just want to have a lot of clients that then become a number. It's important to me that each client feels that they are a priority, because they are. Without them, we have no business. So it's important that our clients feel that. So I wouldn't want to grow too quickly that we're not able to cope with that demand or continue with the ethos that we've built.
How do you find growing in this economy? Because there's quite a lot of negativity around the economy generally. Some negativity maybe around leadership and what's going to happen next and all of those sorts of things. How do you, as the sort of younger generation businessman that's clearly doing fantastically well, what would you be saying to the older folks like myself that are maybe feeling that pessimism around what the future holds?
I think it's a good question, and I think with the economy, it's I think what you make of it as well. I think that's important. Whilst there's negativity surrounding it in the future for young people, unemployment, the introduction of AI, where that leads to further unemployment potentially of certain jobs. But I think the mid-skilled to high-skilled jobs will probably be largely unaffected. But I think you've got to grow with the changes that we are going to see coming. AI, it's here, it's coming, but we need to grow with it, to embrace it and work alongside it, as opposed to just dismiss it or hope it doesn't happen. So from our point of view, business point of view, we grow because what we do well. And I think there's that distinction as well, is if you do something well, we're not going to struggle, I don't think, is my personal view, but that's only because of the business we've built. And certain sectors, I think, will be unaffected. But there is, there's optimism, but equally, I get that there's going to be the pessimistic approach as well. But it's not. I don't think it's all going to be bad. I think that there is definitely growth that can be done, and certainly it's just embracing it. And like I say, with the introduction of AI, we must embrace it.
Well, when you talk about being optimistic, you've taken a business essentially in this landscape of change, I suppose, that we've had over the last 5 years or so, 10 years, maybe some instability and uncertainty, and absolutely rocked it. So, as you say, control your area of things and not worry about controlling the things that you can't control, but there's always opportunities out there, and you've just been really, really good at adapting. I like that. That's an interesting idea of just accepting that things are going to be different, adapting to it, and then moving on. I think those are really good life lessons generally. If you want to be successful or you want to thrive in any environment, having those skills is certainly going to help, and I can see how they've helped you. So if you were then to say to the marketplace as it stands at the moment, because you'll be bringing on new team members, you'll be employing more folks. Do you think the talent's out there? And do you think it's a generational thing? Like sort of my generation looked back and said, "Oh, we're not going to have any good talented people coming through," and you may be looking at the next lot of folks that are coming through with maybe a similar lens, or do you think that there's opportunities that maybe we're not seeing within those sectors?
Again, good question, and I think the pool of people that you can pick from is probably a lot smaller than it once was, and whether that be that the government aren't offering enough work placements or enough training for people. For our industry, it's looking at AAT, for instance, or putting people into an AAT course. There's fewer colleges offering that now, so the pool of people will definitely be smaller to pick from. But it's finding that right person for the business and that fits the ethos and that fits that industry. So using the accountancy as the example there's a smaller pool, but there's definitely the talent out there, just less to pick from.
And are you guys, how are you kind of addressing that? Are you trying to identify talent at maybe an earlier stage, or do you think that possibly going forward within your business that acquisition might be an interesting way for you to explore that growth? Have you thought along those lines?
Definitely, an acquisition is definitely an option. It's an option to take on, and whether that's buying another accountancy firm or bookkeeping firm, if somebody's looking to sell or a merger, it's anything like that. I'd always be open to those suggestions, those conversations. But equally, it's finding the talent early as well. So if you can find somebody that's really interested in the business and interested in accountancy or bookkeeping, and then you can mold them as well, which is great, and you can train them into not just being a bookkeeper, not just being a robot. You want them to have the same ethos, same drive, and to fit in with the team as well. That's important because you want a happy working environment so that everybody's happy, everybody can work together. But equally, we've got to get the job done ultimately, and they've got to work alongside each other and ensure our clients are happy. So I think if we can spot talent early and we're having enough conversations with people, and it's about expanding our network, so whether that's myself or whether it's colleagues, expanding their networks and identifying any potential candidates early on, and then having the conversation about whether they then want to go onto a college course. And then it's finding the college course and making sure that there's a space for them. And it's difficult because finding the talent is not too much of a problem. It's then trying to find a course that fits them and what's on offer from, whether that's educational institutions or the government, and what they offer is the difficult task.
Well, hopefully, if they are listening, get on the back of that, because we need to get people employed. When you were talking about AI, it got me thinking about your practice. You do a lot of functional type work, transactional type work, and you make sure that the compliance is all 100% done for your clients and things like that. But you also get involved at a deeper level. And the way that I kind of see AI impacting maybe your sort of marketplace is it kind of takes care of the more day-to-day type stuff. Whereas it's not really going to be able to play a role like you do within a business where you often act as a sort of financial director, where that person that you can speak to, the person that you can have conversations with. How have you found that kind of transition within the accounting industry in general, of being more, and do you see accountants being more involved in the sort of day-to-day decision making of the business as a whole that you're looking after?
I think for us personally, so me personally, I think having those conversations with people on a non-exec FD role or FD role is important, and those are the things that I enjoy doing as well. I enjoy having an impact on people's business, not just from an accounting tax point of view, and trying to help people save tax, be more tax efficient. It is looking at the day-to-day running of the business. Can it be more cost effective? Can we be more profitable? Which I think goes deeper than just being an accountant and looking at end of year figures and just aligning those and having those conversations with people is really important, because you're then part of the business, which is nice, and you get and for me it's fulfillment as well. So you fulfill that from a personal point of view. It's really nice to see a business do well, to improve their profitability, to cut costs, and it's a nice feeling to have that recognition and feedback. And then going on to the AI part of the question, was that I think some of the day-to-day tasks, i.e. some of the bookkeeping, can be done or will be able to be done by AI when it improves and is fully functioning properly. And we've got some courses coming up that we're going to be looking at that, about how that can help benefit our business, and we can work alongside. And we look at AI. I know some people will look at it negatively, and it can potentially replace people's jobs, which is obviously a problem for unemployment. However, we would then look to reposition those people, maybe expand their knowledge base, looking at them then being fully qualified accountants if that's what they want to do, and have AI do some of the mundane tasks. But equally, you're going to need somebody to check those at the moment, because it's not quite there. So I think it's not going to replace people, so to speak, but it will. If you embrace it, we can work alongside it and get rid of some of the mundane tasks, so that we can concentrate on them being more client and people focused.
With that in mind, are you noticing any particular trend within the marketplace of people that are adopting AI and not adopting AI? Or is it too soon to see if that is really having an impact in their businesses? From the clients you're working with, have you noticed that if they are sort of, because you spoke about adaptation, you spoke about change, you spoke about those types of things, are you seeing within your client base, the folks that are adapting or are changing, are they seeing a different level of success to the other clients, or is it just maybe too soon to tell?
I think too soon to tell is the honest answer. I think there's a couple of clients that have embraced it and have used it as a bit of an administration tool. So booking, as an example, a hairdresser is using it as a bit of a booking system. So using that to automate bookings so that they go into the diary, they don't have to then necessarily make the phone calls to clients. So it then frees them up. It's only a small firm, but it frees them up to then be able to do more hairdressing and more hair cutting and all of that sort of thing, so they can concentrate more on actually delivering and not worrying about the booking system. So I think it certainly has its place and will help businesses thrive. But whether that is whether that's 100% foolproof, we'll find out.
I like that, help businesses thrive, because
Yeah.
that's what businesses do when they come join you, don't they? Will thrive. So if you were talking to the next business guy, you started your business in 2013?
Yes.
So when you started out in 2013, what would be the sort of best advice that you would give Nathan come 2013, starting out your business, getting ready to crack on, do their thing? What advice would you be giving young Nathan at that point?
I think having the core beliefs, I suppose, is one of the things I would say, is that with integrity, hard work, resilience, enthusiasm, and it's not necessarily the accounting side of things, which sounds silly, but it's having the drive to go out and find clients, having going out and speaking to people. People will buy off people still. People will work with people that they want to work with, that they get along with, and that they can develop a relationship with, and that can offer support, assistance, and be an asset to their business. And I think that's the thing to keep hold of. And regardless of what happens with AI, and what happens with the automation, and other businesses, and whether that be rivalry or competition, I think people will certainly buy off people. And if you can be, if you can build that relationship, if you can be that, that confident person that a business owner needs in our industry, then I think you'll do well.
Well, I mean, that was absolutely fantastic insights from Nathan. And I 100% agree that it is relationship based. And I actually do also see the marketplace going more and more relationship based. That we do want to be able to look the person in the eye that we're dealing with. Maybe it's through cybercrime or whatever it might be, but we are definitely looking to, we want to know the person we're transacting with. So I definitely concur with that. But it's been absolutely brilliant. My biggest takeaway from learning from Nathan today was whatever age you are, whatever you're doing out there within your business, have that drive, have that passion, have that enthusiasm, and do the things. Get on with it, get it done. And you can be 25 or 55, and it's not going to make any difference if you've got that sort of drive behind you to just get out there and really get it done. I think we'll all be as successful as Nathan. So it's been really good to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the time. And yeah, look forward to the next episode of The Age Gap.